were a large group on a hen do. There was 12 of us, and this was only the accommodation that we could book as a group through the travel agent. It's not necessarily apartments slash hotel. I do think there's residents living in this complex as well, so that's something to be mindful of. In the reception area, there are toilets, but there are no showers. So there is a luggage room, but there's nowhere to go and get changed and get showered if you've got a late night flight. So that's something to be very mindful of. You can clearly see that it's from the 1970s, possibly even earlier, maybe the 60s, with the tiles and the decor, with the wood. But I would say it was clean. The reception area was clean. There are a few comfy chairs knocking about for you to sit on. The main reception desk is manned 24/7, and there is a key slot because you will only get one key for your room, and it is a proper key, not a key card. So we did tend to leave it at reception. This is the luggage room. This is where everything will be put. There is a bar. They did do an happy hour. That was €3. It says for a large beer, it wasn't. It was a plastic beaker, about half a pint. But we'll admit it was probably the best pint I had while we were in Alburferia. The beer was not very good at all. The swimming pool is open from about 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. and they sell towels. If you forget to bring your own, you can buy one. There's not a lot going off really in this hotel, to be fair. Like I said, I do think there are residents that live here. There was clearly at some point some sort of animation team, but that's gone. It was walking like back into a time warp. Not really sure what was in this room, but we couldn't get in. There is a library, a 24-hour library if you want to use it, but obviously look at that. We then walk round to some sort of video arcade museum. Clearly, nobody's been in there for a very long time. I would not book this hotel if you have got children. It is clearly currently just being run to get hen parties and big groups in. It's really, really budget basic. So this is your main restaurant slash bar. Some of the group did eat here, but they said it wasn't fantastic. And then further down here, I think would have been some sort of entertainment area at some point, but clearly not used at all now. Just left. It is sort of clean. I'm not going to knock it too much. It is clean for what it is, but it's so dated. This is the pool area. There is not enough sun loungers to take the amount of apartments that are there. Really minimal on sun loungers. The pool was clean enough. There were bits of leaves and bits of things floating that had come off the trees, but they did try. The lift areas, again, really, really old. You could literally get probably two people in there at a time. There's no wheelchair access. You're not getting a wheelchair in there. So this is us showing how many people exactly you could get in the lift at a time. Just two of us with a little suitcase. There is some information regarding the restaurant, what time it's open till, potentially what sort of food you might get in the restaurant. But it's a lot of burgers and chips, that sort of thing that you would normally expect. As I said, I do think there is residents that live here, so again, please be mindful of that. There's a big major car park where these pavements are just gone. Everybody's parking all over it. But this is, believe it or not, the front of the hotel. It is very budget basic. There's nothing really that I can show you because this is it. There is a pool, there is a bar, that's it. If you're coming in a group, it'll be perfect. So we were in room 517. And it was a two-bedroom apartment, but we technically used it as a three-bed. There's lots of storage. The beds were comfort, but they are, again, very budget, very basic. There was a safe, loads and loads of storage, and I will apologise for the shaky camera movements at this point. I had been drinking on the flight, and with it being a hen do, I was drunk the entire time we were there, so please forgive me for the shaky hand movements. But again, lots of storage. Clearly, again, the decor, what can we say? It is what it is. They did take a 50 €50 deposit offering us for the room. It does say it could be up to 100, but we did get it back. I will admit we left it pretty clean and tidy. In terms of location, there is an Aldi about a 10-minute walk up the road, so we went and got a load of stuff to drink in the apartments, and we made some food, etc. Um, there is no aircon as well, just to be aware. You can get a fan, but we didn't really need it. We went in June, but there was a gentle breeze, so we were perfectly fine with what we'd got. Our apartment was quite good actually because it did have its own like separate kitchenette area, which you can see here. That boiler frightened me a little bit because it was something out of times gone by. One thing to note is we couldn't find plug sockets, and they're actually underneath these cupboards that we're currently looking at now. So if you do decide to come here in a group booking, the plug sockets are underneath, but we had a kettle, we had a toaster, we had some cooking equipment and a microwave. The fridge was really clean as well, so can't grumble at that. There was nothing dirty in there that we found. It did come with two bathrooms, which we thought were really good with us being in a big, massive group. There were fresh towels left for us. I think we got fresh towels probably twice in the time that we were there, but we did have an issue with the bathtubs draining. They weren't draining very well, so just be mindful of that as well. But we managed to get washed. This little bathroom we didn't use particularly much because on the first day when we got in that shower, it just leaked everywhere. It just having a curtain wrapped round it, so we sort of abandoned that and just used the toilet facilities in that one. And this is supposed to be the sitting room, but in our room it was a bit more like a third bedroom, which we were actually quite grateful of, because it separated us out enough so that people could go and get a drink, etc., from the kitchen. We had a decent sized balcony. Like I said, the beds were comfy enough. They were like, I think they're supposed to be like sofas, but they're not the beds, so it just made it easier. And there was somewhere to put your clothes when you come in, drying facilities, somewhere to hang your clothes. There was things like cups and saucers. They were all in this little cupboard, bit hidden out of way for us to find at first, but we did have something so that we could make a cup of tea. So this was the other room that we had as well on the end, and I think this was 509. This is a very different layout to the other one. Similar furniture, still your budget basic furniture, old furniture, but loads and loads of storage again in the rooms, big wardrobes. Again, this one did have two bathrooms, but it was laid out a lot different. So there is a bath in each apartment, like a half bath, and the water pressure was fine. We managed, like I said, we managed to get washed. But where we had like a third bedroom, theirs is like a proper sitting area with a little kitchenette. But they did have a pool view as well, and they had like a separate ensuite. Sorry, I'd actually got caught at that point. That's why the camera was like that. Still been drinking like 84 hours at this point. Um, but this shower on this ensuite, this was horrendous as well, just like the other one. Leaked everywhere. The curtain rail wasn't particularly hung well enough. So again, that was just used mainly as the toilet facilities. But it had a nice big balcony on this one. It did sort of loop round. Um, there's no full length mirrors either. There is mirrors, but not full length mirrors. And they'd got a pool view. And again, you can see there's not a lot of sun lounges. So this is just the kitchenette again before we leave you.